Sabine and Karl-Georg User are living proof of harmony between East and West Germany. They met almost 20 years ago. She's from the West and he's from the East. Karl-Georg had just left the GDR when they met in a student pub in Göttingen in West Germany in 1989. He never thought he'd be allowed to return to the East, but then came the fall of the Berlin Wall.
It had a massive effect on my plans, and also turned a lot of other people's lives upside down. There were new opportunities I'd never have had otherwise, and I wouldn't be here in Schwerin.
Karl-Georg User now lives in his hometown once again. His children find it hard to imagine what it used to be like in Schwerin. When he was their age, the school curriculum had a distinct communist hue, restrictions he tried to avoid.
People managed to find ways of getting along. I was involved in the church. It provided a kind of haven, but you could never be sure where the GDR was headed.
When Karl-Georg moved back here with his wife in 1994, many things seemed the same. Visitors would pop in unannounced, just as they had done in communist East Germany, where few people had a phone. Sabine found some things better than in the West.
What I didn't see here were all those envious looks. The difference isn't as great now as it used to be, but there still is one.
Visually, at least, Schwerin has changed enormously. But as elsewhere in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, there are plenty of problems lurking behind the restored facades. Industry was massively scaled down in the early 1990s, and rising unemployment has led to growing frustration. Karl-Georg User is a social worker and is aware of the resulting upsurge in support for right-wing parties.
Some aspects of the GDR were good for the people. The state took care of you from the cradle to the grave. Your livelihood was secure. Plus, there were hardly any outside influences. That is something the right-wingers have seized on.
Poor perspectives, an aging society and right-wing extremism were issues Sabine User had only read about until she moved here from Western Germany. Originally, she only came for a short visit, but then she found a job and stayed.
Everyone was going to the West, but I went East. My brother moved here a couple of years ago as well. It's a bit weird for our family.
Sabine User now feels at home in Schwerin, although sometimes she does notice how many of their friends are originally from Western Germany. It's often easier talking with them than with her husband.
What I always miss is having a shared past. We don't have the same memories.
Revisiting the past. School days, music and fashion. Three important areas where Sabine and Karl-Georg have little in common.
They have totally different stories from school. My mother's stories are normal, but my father refused to join the communist youth movement and wasn't allowed to take his high school diploma.
East German children were expected to join the communist youth organizations. But Karl-Georg User was one of the few who did not. For Karl-Georg's children, his recollections sound like a film. He was spied on by the East German secret police, the Stasi, betrayed by friends, and he joined in protests against the regime. Nikos was born in Western Germany, Dijke in the East.
I'd just say I'm a German. I wouldn't say I'm from the East or the West. I'm just German.
Sabine and Karl-Georg User have managed to break down most of the barriers, and they have lots in common, like their love of dancing. They're sure that it's only a matter of time until the two parts of Germany are well and truly in step with one another.